The vault was sealed with quantum-class encryption, 5 layers of rotating dimensional locks, and a fail-safe that would trigger a planetary implosion if tampered with. For 3 centuries, the Galactic Assembly had deemed it permanently inaccessible, a cosmic mystery no species had managed to solve. That is, until a human strolled in with gum on his boot and a backpack full of snacks. He wasn't a hacker. He wasn't a quantum engineer. He wasn't even supposed to be there, just a field technician who got lost during lunch. But within 30 minutes, without breaking a sweat, he cracked it open. No tools. No schematics. No authorization. Just intuition, some stubborn fiddling, and of course chewing gum. The aliens watching were horrified. Then awestruck. Then deeply, existentially confused. What kind of species casually bypasses an extinction-grade security protocol with household junk? What kind of mind chooses brute persistence over 1,000 years of mathematics? And more importantly, what were they supposed to do now that the unopenable had been opened? If you've ever jerry-rigged your way through a broken appliance or fixed your car with duct tape and hope, you're going to love this one. Nut and bolt like practical chaos. Smash that like button. Brain ever solved something in the dumbest but most effective way possible? Share your story in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping examples of humanity doing the impossible, often by accident. In the heart of the Hadrosian cluster, orbiting a dim orange dwarf star, lay Vault ZY9, a relic of a long-dead civilization whose technology baffled even the most advanced species in the galaxy. To the Galactic Preservation Consortium, the vault represented everything that defined the unknown. Wrapped in shimmering layers of molecular stasis and time-locked encryption, it was considered an absolute black site. Look, study, hypothesize, but never, under any circumstance, attempt to open it. Opening Vault ZY9 was equivalent to lighting a match in a munitions factory while blindfolded and drunk. And yet, across millennia, nearly every species tried. The Grathan tried sonic infiltration. The Uxili used harmonic resonance. The Fork-Ream deployed quantum drilling drones the size of cities. None succeeded. And so, Vault ZY9 had become a place of pilgrimage for scientists, philosophers, and glory seekers, a cosmic monument to collective futility. Today's meeting, Security Protocol Update. Inside the Pertheran Observation Dome, located just 12 kilometers from the vault's outer perimeter, a group of highly advanced beings gathered. Their forms shimmered in ambient light, their translucent skin glowing faintly with bioneural current. Floating above the center console, the latest update hovered in text form. Status: unbreached. Total time since lockdown: 1083 years, 229 days, 7 hours. Threat level: cataclysmic. Recommendation: do not engage. Highkeeper RHVEL, leader of the Vault Committee, clicked his secondary mandible. Excellent. No change. As expected. Senior Archivist Z-Ural shifted nervously. However, we must address an anomaly in Sector 7G. Anomaly? RHVEL asked, bored. A human was detected, within the perimeter. The room fell into stunned silence. Wait, a what? A human, Z-Ural repeated. Bipedal. Carbon-based. Exhibiting no containment suit, shielding, or authorized clearance. Another being Tarkos of the Zebra floated closer. What was the human doing? Consuming a starch-based, synthetically flavored snack bar, and chewing a sticky substance with no discernible nutritional value. Chewing? What was he chewing? We're not certain. He called it gum. There was a long pause as hundreds of interstellar minds tried and failed to understand. No armor? No probe equipment? No prayer protocol? None, Z-Ural replied. He was humming some Earth-originated song involving a woman named Roxanne. Tarko's eye stalks quivered. Is that a war chant? No. It appears to be a form of auditory mating confusion. RHVEL finally exhaled. Send a drone to extract him. No organic being should be within 100 units of that vault. Especially a human. We did, Z-Ural said. And there was another pause. He waved at the drone. Then offered it, gum. Across the chamber, a soft alarm pulsed. RHVEL turned toward the console. Status report. Z-Ural's appendages trembled. The vault shifted. Not opened. But it responded. No. That's impossible. Telemetry confirms it. A 0.2 degree shift in lock alignment. Correlated exactly to the moment the human spat gum onto the vault's seal. Are you telling me, RHVEL whispered, that 300 civilizations failed to breach this vault and a human accidentally nudged it open with garbage from his mouth? That appears to be the working theory, sir. Day 2, Emergency Council Briefing. Alien species who had not shared a room in centuries now crowded into the Pertheran dome, broadcasting their panic across subspace. The vault reacted to organic waste. Do we consider this a sign of weaponized biology? Has the human been neutralized? No, Z-Ural answered. He is currently sitting on the vault, eating something called a peanut butter sandwich. He appears to be contemplating. Contemplating what? We don't know. He won't respond. He just says he's working it out. Tarkos groaned. Does this human possess any credentials? Any qualifications at all? None, RHVEL admitted. His designation is Field Repair Subgrade Technician Level C. He was assigned to a cargo hauler that mistakenly dropped him off here due to a routing error. You mean this isn't even a sanctioned expedition? Correct. He thinks he's repairing a beacon relay. He doesn't even know what he's sitting on. Chaos erupted. The vault, long considered the zenith of cosmic security, had been reduced to a curious bench for a snack-eating mammal. And somehow, it was responding to him. Day 3, Human Interview Attempt. An emissary was sent. A soft-bodied negotiator from the diplomatic species THNAR, chosen for its soothing voice modulation and non-threatening appearance. Transcript of first contact. Emissary, greetings, Earth descendant. Do you understand the significance of your location? Human, yeah, you've got a giant weird door here. It's got bad vibes. Also something's buzzing under my butt. Emissary, that buzzing is a quantum failsafe tied to the end of all known reality. Please vacate the platform. Human, cool. Any idea what this sticky gunk is? It melted my sandwich bag. I think I stuck my gum to something important. Emissary, you did what? The transcript ends abruptly when the emissary fainted from existential stress. Day 4, Human Behavior Monitoring. Despite multiple warnings, the human continued to tamper with the vault entirely unaware that his every action could trigger an extinction-level event. He poked at glowing glyphs. He traced sigils with his finger, muttering, "Feels like a combo lock. Wonder if it's one of those Fibonacci things." He attempted to pry a panel open using a spork. When asked why he was doing this, he replied, "Honestly, curiosity. Also, I hate being told I can't touch stuff." To the alien observers, this answer was not just baffling, it was terrifying. New scientific hypothesis. Humans are immune to reverence. Journal of Xenoanthropology, Issue 5, Volume 384. By the end of the fourth day, the vault had shifted again. This time, 4 degrees. Its outer petals, sealed for over a millennium, were now subtly misaligned. The human hadn't noticed. He'd taken a nap. Galactic Consensus Summary, Emergency Vote. Human remains too close to Vault ZY9. Any removal attempt has failed. Vault shows increasing signs of interaction. Humans may possess some unknown, chaotic compatibility with pre-galactic tech. We no longer know what we're dealing with. Final resolution. Do not interfere. Monitor. Learn. Try to understand. In a closed-loop communication between RHVEL and the High Archivist, the following statement was recorded. They think we are the masters of logic, of science, of structured knowledge. But the humans, they are children who play with the cosmos like it's a sandbox. And somehow, the cosmos plays back. Thumbs up if you're enjoying the madness of human curiosity versus universal caution. Give that like button a gentle smack. Hammer and wrench ever solved a puzzle just by poking it? Share your dumbest but most successful moment in the comments. His name was Jared T. Monroe, 34 Earth years old, field technician subgrade level C, formerly employed by Orbital Relays LLC, a human subcontractor known mostly for over-promising, under-delivering, and hiring the sort of personnel who could fix just about anything if you gave them time, a sandwich, and permission to ignore all formal protocol. He was shipped to the vault sector by accident. The intended destination was a comms satellite near Beetle Station Alpha 9. The system glitch was minor: 1 typo, 1 mislabeled cargo container, and 1 heavily distracted human pilot humming free-fallin' while handling drop coordinates. And so, Jared Monroe landed on an ancient alien world of immeasurable danger with no map, a half-charged wrist tablet, 3 granola bars, 1 universal toolkit, and a stick of expired mint chewing gum. According to Jared, this wasn't a crisis. It was a Wednesday. He didn't panic. He didn't request emergency extraction. He didn't even ask where he was. Instead, he activated his wrist tablet, muttered something about signal bleed, and began walking toward the only thing on the horizon, a massive, shimmering alien structure that defied geometry and radiated mildly ominous hums. To him, it looked like a comms tower. To every other species in the galaxy, it was Vault ZY9, the most dangerous artifact in recorded interstellar history. Initial observation log, Day 1, Hour 3. Filed by Xanthar Biology Research Cluster. Subject appears unconcerned by proximity to Class A relic hazard. Current activity, chewing unknown substance, applying it to a panel marked with antimatter glyphs. Communication, humming. Unknown lyrics. Possibly ritualistic. Transcript, audio recording. Jared, alrighty. That button's got a weird glow to it. You're probably important. Chewing intensifies. Jared, oh, you're stuck, huh? Gum squish. Jared, let's wedge a little gum in there, see if that does anything. From the outside, alien observers panicked. From the inside, Jared just did Jared things. He propped open panels with multi-tools. He tapped on strange glowing runes and muttered, "Yup, definitely not Wi-Fi." He even used his boot to scrape away centuries of interstellar dust, revealing a forgotten touchpad beneath. To the aliens, this was blasphemy. To Jared, it was maintenance. Alien Cultural Briefing, Human Analysis Division. Presented to the Galactic Council by xenoanthropologist Vri Althon. Humans are not inherently malicious. However, their relationship with the concept of sacredness is non-existent. To a human, if an object exists, it can and likely should be interacted with. Curiosity is not optional. It is compulsory. Irrational. Aggressively persistent. They treat forbidden technology the same way they treat vending machines that ate their coins, something to fix by force, humor, or improvised leverage. Back at the vault, Jared sat cross-legged, inspecting a corroded interface that no species had dared touch for 1,000 years. It sparked ominously. He muttered, "Pht, probably just a grounding issue." Then, in full view of 12 recording drones and a galactic audience of millions watching the live stream, he licked his thumb and rubbed the glyph clean. The vault responded. The locking sequence twitched. The outer casing sighed. Global alien reaction. He licked it. He licked the glyph. The darn diplomat collapsed from anxiety. The Slurax contingent began weeping silently. The Katal broadcasted a galaxy-wide travel advisory. Warning: human in contact with cosmic classified object. Stay out of range. Seek emotional support if exposed to recordings. And Jared? He leaned back, took a bite of his granola bar, and casually said to the drone hovering near him, "You guys ever think this thing just needs to be rebooted? Like, maybe it's stuck in some weird protocol loop." The word rebooted was immediately added to 600 alien languages. Several high councils convened emergency linguistic committees to determine whether reboot was a metaphor for human spiritual warfare. Xenocultural Bulletin number 7741. Do not attempt to interpret human logic directly. They will equate quantum fail-safe encryption with something they once fixed on a microwave using a butter knife and positive thinking. Day 2, Human social interaction attempt. Despite previous failed efforts, a multi-species diplomatic envoy was sent to reason with the human, now affectionately nicknamed the Vault Whisperer. The human response: "Oh, you guys came back. Look, I think I almost got this thing open. I just need something pointy." One of the diplomats fainted. Another offered him a ceremonial dagger only for Jared to use it as a makeshift screwdriver. He twisted it against the panel's joint, chuckled, and said, "Not bad. This one's got a nice grip." This casual defilement of a sacred object was later replayed at 0.5x speed in academic forums under the title, "Why We Fear Earth." Television. Are you enjoying watching one human break interstellar sanity with snack wrappers and stubbornness? Then give that subscribe button a tap unless you're an alien ambassador trying not to scream. Day 3, The Analysis Spiral. Galactic scholars now had over 72 hours of recorded footage of Jared simply being Jared. He blew on dusty panels like he was cleaning an old Nintendo cartridge. Used a granola bar wrapper as insulation to prevent an electrical short. Used the phrase "close enough" while aligning planetary seals built by an extinct race that once moved stars. Described the vault's core pulse as vibey. One alien summarized it perfectly. "He treats the sacred like a toaster that won't pop." Another replied, "Yes. And it's working. Because the vault wasn't resisting. It was responding." For the first time in known history, the artifact was not locked down but listening. Reacting. Unfolding. Not to command. Not to control. But to curiosity. To imperfection. To humanity. By the end of the third day, Jared had made measurable progress. 3 of the 6 central petals had shifted. The locking glyphs pulsed not with warning but rhythm. Mimicking his humming. Echoing his speech patterns. Alien scientists were driven to the brink of madness trying to decipher the pattern. Jared called it intuition. And when asked how he knew what to do, he shrugged and said, "No clue. It's like that one drawer at home that always jams. You gotta wiggle it left, then smack it." By day 4, Jared Monroe had unknowingly instigated what historians would later refer to as the soft cataclysm, not a cosmic disaster, but a crisis of credibility that spread through the galactic order like wildfire. Incident Log 047C, The Wire. At 0900 local time, Jared discovered a loose wire protruding from the vault's underframe. It sparked faintly. A nearby alien surveillance drone recorded the following exchange. "Jared, that ain't great. Might short out the whole thing. Lemme just." He pulls out a twist tie from a granola bar wrapper. "Jared, there we go. That'll hold." The vault immediately shifted again. Glyphs flared. A low-frequency pulse rippled across the sector. Dozens of cloaked observation satellites overloaded and shut down. Emergency Engineering Response Team, EERT, statement. "We estimate that the humans' impromptu fix rerouted dimensional harmonics through a bypass loop that doesn't technically exist. We have no idea how he did this. We are fairly certain he doesn't either." Loudspeaker, like seeing an accidental genius break the rules of physics with snack wrappers. Then hit that subscribe button now because it only gets worse. Day 5, Containment Fails. The Galactic Council unanimously voted to initiate Containment Protocol Delta 6, which involved generating a multi-phase force field, deploying a linguistic isolator to prevent Jared from giving further instructions, emitting localized memory scramblers to make him forget what he was doing. Unfortunately, none of it worked. Jared absent-mindedly set up his folding camp chair inside the shield radius, placing his lunch cooler directly on the force field's anchor node. The entire field destabilized. The memory scrambler crashed with the error message. Input too chaotic. Cannot overwrite. When asked by a panicked alien observer what just happened, Jared shrugged. I dunno. Maybe I sat on the router. That explanation was submitted to 3 alien think tanks. One of them collapsed from existential dread. Secondary problem, galactic viewership. Thanks to a misconfigured drone feed, Jared's actions were being live-streamed across 3 sectors, broadcast as an educational crisis to every technologically advanced race in the known galaxy. And the response? They weren't horrified. They were inspired. Top trending galactic broadcasts. Human opens vault with vibes and trash, Part 5. Fixing God tech with chewing gum. Is Earth dangerous or divine? Live, Jared vs. The Secrets of the Universe. Spoiler, Jared's winning. Suddenly, Jared was no longer a nuisance. He was a movement. Problem escalation, the copycat effect. Within 48 hours. A group of Mardokian engineers began dismantling a 1,000-year-old energy lattice to try the human way. A Verine science cult constructed a shrine around a human stapler they believed to be an artifact of intuitive power. The T-Sari, once the most rigidly logical race in the galaxy, issued an official retraction of their stance on trial and error methodology. In short, Jared Monroe was unmaking millennia of careful, ordered science. And he still hadn't realized the vault wasn't just a vault. Day 6, Dimensional Feedback Loop. By now, Jared had exposed and tampered with nearly 80% of the vault's surface interface. He did not understand what he was doing. He simply followed a gut feeling. Sometimes he tapped things until they stopped blinking. Sometimes he blew on connectors and said, "Behave, ya little bugger." Sometimes he just stared at a wall until something buzzed differently. And it kept working. But today, something new happened. A portal opened. Not a dramatic, whirling vortex of light, but a casual shimmer behind the vault. A gap in space, like the universe forgot to finish rendering that part of reality. And from it, something watched. Not a being. Not quite. Just, presence. Vast. Patient. And interested. The vault was no longer just reacting. It was communicating. Not in words. Not in pulses. But through interaction. Through behavior. Through Jared. Alien Council Internal Memo, Level Black Clearance. We are no longer observing human interference with the artifact. We are observing the artifact's acceptance of the human. Conclusion. The vault may be not just a containment structure, but a test. A filter. And the human, may have passed. Meanwhile, Jared poked his head into the void and muttered, "Neat. Smells like burnt almonds in there." That comment became a meme across 17 star systems. Escalation within escalation, galactic philosophy crisis. The emergence of the portal triggered not panic but deep cultural reflection. In the Gentari system, theologians declared Earth to be a catalyst species, created to challenge entropy itself. The Krull Empire began replacing half their engineers with humans, calling it Jaredification. Even the Androlka, who had outlawed improvisation for 4,000 years, opened a department called Experimental Gut Feels and Intuition-Based Outcomes. Meanwhile, Jared ran into a real problem. The vault had stopped responding. The glyphs went dormant. The portal stayed open, but quiet. And no matter what he did, banging, humming, gum reapplication, nothing changed. Jared scratched his head, pulled out his wrist tablet, and said, "Guess we need a firmware update." He turned to the drone beside him, stared directly into the camera feed, now broadcasting to over 3.2 trillion beings, and added, "All right folks, any ideas? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Or just like and subscribe so I know you're still watching me not blow up the universe. Police car light, smash that like if you think Jared should go in the portal. Speech balloon comment below, would you walk into a space tier with zero plan? Problem peak, unauthorized exploration." At 0900 the next day, Jared walked into the portal. No armor. No tether. Just a wrench, a granola bar, and the look of someone about to fix a cosmic error like it was a faulty HVAC unit. Galactic commands scrambled. Emergency protocols activated. Thousands of high-ranking alien officials tuned in, certain they would witness his disintegration or madness. But Jared came back 10 minutes later, sipping water from a plastic bottle and casually saying, "Yeah, it's a server room. Dusty as hell. Looks like someone unplugged the primary stack." The vault pulsed once. Then opened. Final problem, the vault wasn't a vault. It was a reset switch. A final safeguard from a civilization so old, it predated galactic memory. If opened by violence or force, the fail-safe would erase that galaxy segment. But if opened by persistence, creativity, and absurd human logic, the fail-safe would deactivate and gift access to the archive. A blueprint for universal stability. And now, Jared held the admin key. Final conflict? No one knew what came next. Not even Jared. He stared at the massive glowing console now humming in front of him. Looked at the chair that formed from energy. Looked at the aliens watching from a billion view screens. And said, "So, what do I do now?" They called him many things now. To some, the improv prophet. To others, the administrator of chaos. And in the academic circles of 42 different star systems, he was formally entered into historical records as Jared T. Monroe, Homo sapiens, Vault Trigger Event. Council Debrief, High Orbit, over ZY9. Highkeeper R.H. Vell, once known for his strict adherence to logic, sat motionless as the playback looped on the central screen. Jared licking his thumb. Jared jiggling the console with his boot. Jared muttering, You ever try turning it off and on again? Each moment burned a deeper, more irreversible question into HFY's consciousness. Are we the fools, or have we simply never dared to be stupid enough? Around the chamber, alien delegates slumped in post-crisis exhaustion. The Andalian representative, once proud of her species' 10,000-year legacy of rational achievement, slowly typed a new directive into her legal pad. From this point forward, all theoretical models must include a variable for Jared. Across the galaxy, confusion reigned. Alien civilizations that had scoffed at humanity's late entry into interstellar society now questioned if they'd ever understood what it meant to be advanced. Because the truth, uncomfortable and hilarious, had arrived uninvited. Humanity didn't break the rules. They simply never acknowledged them to begin with. Cultural broadcast excerpt, Jared and the Paradox of the Primitive. A crawl philosopher addressed billions with a single question. Why did the vault respond to the human? Was it because he understood it better than we did? Or, was it because he didn't understand it at all? The crowd was silent. He continued. We looked at the artifact and saw fear. A challenge only the worthy could unlock. He looked at it and saw something broken that needed fixing. Brain, what do you think? Was Jared a genius? Or just a walking accident that changed the universe? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And while you're at it, subscribe, because if Jared ever opens another vault, you'll want front row seats. Theological fallout. In the distant Shakor system, a religion crumbled in real time. They had believed Vault ZY9 to be the final gateway to ascension meant for a chosen one, prophesied by sacred texts. And now, Jared had opened it with chewing gum and a multi-tool. One priest stared into the void and whispered. He never meditated. He never chanted. He used a spork. Their spiritual doctrine adapted within 24 hours. By the next planetary cycle, they had rewritten their scriptures. And lo, the human arrived. He did not seek permission, nor read the instructions. He fiddled. And thus, the universe responded. Academic collapse and rebirth. Centuries of galactic academia began collapsing under the weight of a new question. Is trial and error a legitimate scientific method? Professors once revered for their precision now debated the power of improvisation. Laboratories instituted new research roles titled Spontaneous Insight Consultant, Human Required. Scientific journals that had mocked humanity now ran cover articles like What We Misunderstood About Earth's Primitive Ingenuity. Trash, Snacks, and Chaos, the Tools of Unexpected Progress. The Jared Model, Predicting Nonlinear Solutions Through Irrational Acts. Alien Reaction, Emotional and Existential. Even those who had never seen the vault firsthand felt a shift. On worlds hundreds of light years away, children played games pretending to Jared open boxes. Artists painted humans surrounded by broken tech and glowing symbols. Engineers whispered about the gut feeling protocol, a joke-turned-serious alternative model of problem solving. In the council chambers, silence reigned until HFY finally broke it with a single phrase. We have been thinking in straight lines. They tumble forward, trip on themselves, and land at the finish line. Xenopsychological Theory number 8839, Cognitive Dissonance Fatigue. The K-Real Institute published a landmark paper theorizing that humans exist in a constant state of near madness, but are adapted to function inside it. Where we strive to reduce chaos, they absorb it. Where we fear the unknown, they make jokes about it. Where we hesitate, they poke it with a stick. This reframed everything. Not just science, but power. Because now, aliens feared the implications. If one untrained human could unlock ancient secrets, what could humanity accomplish on purpose? Meanwhile, on Earth, Jared's cousin was on a video call with him from his garage. "Dude, I just saw you open some intergalactic vault on alien TikTok. That real?" "Yeah," Jared replied, sipping a juice box. "Whole thing was weird. Think I caused a philosophy collapse or something." "Nice. Hey, when you're back, can you help me fix my water heater?" "Sure. Got any gum?" Galactic Assessment Report, Final Entry. Filed by Xenocultural Anthropologist Vrielthon. We have seen stars collapse. We have watched planets burn. We have studied logic, constructed wisdom, and feared entropy. But nothing has prepared us for the reality that the most effective force in the galaxy may be a human with no plan and a stubborn attitude. Perhaps that is humanity's true evolutionary gift. They treat the unknowable not as sacred, but as solvable. Closing reflections, alien perspective. From the upper skies of ZY9, the vault now stood open. Its secrets were catalogued, shared, and respectfully protected by the very species who once feared it. But always at the center of every story, every memory, every legend remained the human who changed everything. Not with firepower, not with wisdom, but with improvisation, instinct, and an unshakable belief that everything is fixable. Eventually. Studio microphone. What's your favorite example of human resilience? Thought balloon. Have you ever solved something your way and it actually worked? Let us know in the comments. And stick around for the final chapters, because if you thought the vault was wild, wait until Jared finds the next broken thing. The vault was open. But the story wasn't over. Because something had noticed. Something old. Something that had once designed the vault not as a storage unit, but as a fail-safe to keep it sealed. And now, it stirred. Sector warning broadcast. Unknown entity signature detected. Class, presentient null logic entity. Protocol, do not engage. Status, waking. A ripple of darkness spread from the broken vault like a yawn of forgotten entropy. Stars dimmed. Time faltered. Mathematics bent at the edges. And at the heart of it stood Jared T. Monroe, holding a granola bar and muttering, "Oh, great. Did I unplug the wrong thing again?" Alien response, Galactic Emergency Summit. Panic swept through the council. Entire species began evacuating solar systems. Ancient war fleets were powered up. Superweapons long deemed immoral were armed. And yet, no one could understand the new threat. It didn't follow logic. It didn't seem alive. It was anti-understanding. A void in meaning itself. Designation assigned, the Obscura. It wasn't evil. It was unraveling. It moved without shape. Spoke without language. And everything it touched became nonsense. Mathematical constants stopped being constant. Causality reversed. Entire thought structures collapsed under their own complexity. Alien generals screamed into their comms. "We need a strategy." And heard only dial-up noises in return. The most advanced minds in the galaxy couldn't process what was happening. So, naturally, they turned to the human who'd opened the door in the first place. Counsel to Jared, urgent transmission. RHVEL, human Jared. The thing you released is breaking reality. We require a solution. Jared, cool. So, I'm guessing putting the gum back won't work. RHVEL, it has destabilized over 100 star systems. Jared, yikes. RHVEL, we need a countermeasure. Anything. Think. Jared, no pressure, huh. Jared's thought process, as transcribed by monitoring drone. All right, let's work this out like it's a busted air conditioner. Symptom, everything's going bananas. Diagnosis, some interdimensional failsafe got tripped. Solution, reboot the whole setup, or at least distract the anomaly. Tools on hand, wrench, tablet, gum, Unclear interface. No manual. Maybe I can wing it. He paused. Looked into the camera. You ever have to fix something you didn't understand by just poking it until it stopped making noise? He pulled out his stylus and began scribbling a plan. Phase 1, bait the void. Jared theorized that the Obscura was drawn not to energy, not to logic but to patterns failing. To paradox. To nonsense. So Jared set out to confuse it. He constructed what he called a chaos beacon. A blender powered by solar cells. Attached to a rubber chicken. Playing Earth polka music. Surrounded by randomly blinking lights. All orbiting a digital photo of a cat with the text, "Icon has quantum collapse." The alien council stared in silent horror as he launched it into the anomaly. What happened next defied reason perfectly. The Obscura paused. It shuddered. And then, for the first time since waking, it laughed. Or something like it. Because absurdity pure, purposeless absurdity was its language. Phase 2, the repatch. Now that it was distracted, Jared raced back to the vault core. He dove into the portal again, tools in hand. He couldn't read the symbols. He didn't understand the tech. But he recognized something. This is a feedback loop. You don't need to understand the machine. You just need to tell it a better story. So he did. He narrated his actions as he went. Alrighty, let's pretend this bit's a fuse, and this one's the ground. If I reroute this to here, hey, if this explodes, my bad. This one's probably important. But it's also loose, pseudo duct tape. And this big red glowing one? That's a do not push button for sure. So naturally, he pressed it. Sector status update. Reality field stabilizing. No logic wave collapsing. Obscura. Retreating. Retreating with a thumbs up emoji. The vault began reselling. Not because it was forced to. Because Jared's chaotic fix made more sense than the unraveling truth. In a way, Jared had told the universe. Don't make sense. Cool. Neither do I. Let's work together. The Obscura blinked once more into visibility. And then, in a final act of impossible recognition, it offered Jared a banana. And vanished. Galactic order returned. Stars brightened. Equations became consistent again. And the vault closed, not locked, but dormant. Waiting. Galactic Network broadcast, the climax debrief. He didn't save us with fire. He didn't save us with genius. He saved us with nonsense, duct tape, and a blender full of polka music. He fought absurdity with absurdity. And in doing so, he became the one thing the universe respects more than order. A being who can laugh into the abyss and make it laugh back. Test tube think chaos can save the day? Speech balloon comment with your weirdest successful fix, it might just stabilize the galaxy. Rocket and subscribe, because we're not done. Jared's been asked to join a new initiative. Final report filed, Galactic Emergency Response Council. Recommendation. Assign Jared T. Monroe to the Office of Cosmic Irregularities. Rationale. No plan survives contact with the unknown. But Jared? Jared is the unknown. 3 galactic cycles later. The vault was quiet. The stars, once dimmed by the Obscura, had resumed their glow. And Jared T. Monroe? He was resting in a hammock, strung between 2 crystalline pillars on a floating station orbiting the ZY9 system. The council had insisted on building him a monument. He requested a nap spot and better coffee. He got both. Alien interview clip, RHVEL, subtitled. He does not demand reverence. He does not request titles. He simply asked us to install a cup holder in his observation deck. And yet, he saved us all. The galaxy didn't forget. They couldn't. Across thousands of planets, children played Fix the Universe with Jared in simulated chaos domes. Museums featured exhibits with replicas of his chewing gum, blender, and banana now encased in stasis glass labeled Class 1 cultural relics. The phrase "what would Jared do?" became a common expression among engineers, usually right before they tried something incredibly stupid, and sometimes brilliant. But for Jared, the wait didn't feel like fame. It felt like a weird memory. Honestly, he once said in an interview, I just didn't want to get blamed for breaking the universe. So I did what I always do, fiddled with stuff until something stopped screaming. Emotional fallout, alien perspective. The Obscura hadn't just threatened systems. It had shaken belief. Philosophies built on control collapsed. Societies founded on rigid order began embracing uncertainty. Entire planets held improvisation festivals, with booths like "Fix that thing blindfolded," "Tell a story with no plot," "Create a machine using only useless stuff." And every year, they invited Jared. Every year, he politely declined. I don't want to be the face of space nonsense, he said. I just wanna get back to Earth and finish fixing Aunt Linda's ceiling fan. Council Recognition Ceremony, Jared's Award Acceptance. RHVEL, we offer you the galactic honor of impossible salvation. Jared, cool. Can I trade that for a wrench set and a six-pack? Awkward silence. RHVEL, we will include both. With ceremonial casing. Jared, deal. Later, a reporter asked, "Do you think you're special?" Jared replied, "Nope. I think I got lucky. And I think you'd be amazed what people can do when they're out of options, out of plans, and just too stubborn to quit." Alien Testimonial, Vrialthon, Xenoanthropologist. Jared didn't inspire us because he was perfect. He inspired us because he wasn't. He doubted. He guessed. He shrugged and tried anyway. And the universe one woven together by logic and rules chose to listen to him. Toolbox ever fixed something with no idea how you did it? Screwdriver, drop your most confusing success story in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe, we've got one more chapter coming. Personal reflection, Jared's recording, unreleased. You know, they keep calling me brave. But I wasn't brave. I was just me. People assume you need to be a genius or a hero to fix something big. But maybe sometimes, you just need a guy who's too tired to panic. If you're in the middle of a mess, and you have no clue what you're doing, but you're trying anyway. Good. That's where the magic lives. Planetary Council Memos, Human Integration. Alien civilizations began recruiting humans for cosmic maintenance roles. Not for their knowledge. For their mindset. The chaos-embracing, boot-kicking, never quit, probably won't follow the manual but might save your life mindset. New galactic phrase coined. When in doubt, call a human. Emotional closure, the final walkthrough. Before leaving the sector, Jared took one last stroll around the vault site. No fanfare. Just wind. Stars. And silence. He placed his hand on the still warm metal. Then pulled out the original stick of gum, now petrified in alien radiation. He smirked and stuck it back on the side panel. Just in case you miss me. Narrative closure, from Galactic Logbook entry. The vault remains closed. The obscura remains gone. But the scars remain not wounds, but reminders. That not all salvation comes from strength. Some comes from stubbornness. Some from snacks. And some, from a human named Jared. The galaxy moved on. The obscura was gone. The vault sealed. But something had changed. Not in the stars. Not in the laws of physics. But in the minds of trillions. Official Directive, Galactic Research Council. Filed 93 cycles after the Jared incident. Effective immediately, all scientific and diplomatic missions involving unknown phenomena must include at least one human technician. Preferred qualifications. Unfazed by danger. Frequently mutters to self. Carries tools in their pockets. Describes complicated systems as a bit funky. Once said, it'll probably hold, and was right. New galactic term added to the lexicon. Jareditude, noun. Definition: the irrational confidence, stubborn optimism, and chaotic intuition displayed by humans when solving problems no one else dares to touch. Used in context: we were about to abandon the reactor when she went full Jareditude and hotwired it with a spoon and a belt. Humanity's reputation, rewritten. Once known as that late arriving, semi-chaotic, underdeveloped species. Now considered the wild card variable in every equation. The species you never expect, and never bet against. Back on Earth, somewhere in a quiet suburb, Jared Monroe returned to a modest apartment with bad carpet, 3 missing ceiling tiles, and a fridge that made weird noises when you opened it too fast. He didn't ask for medals. He didn't talk much about the vault. But he did install a plaque over his workshop desk. It read, "If it sparks, it's still alive." He went back to his old job, well, sort of. Now his clients were from multiple species. His reviews were legendary. Showed up wearing a hoodie, fixed our entropy cascade with a spoon. Didn't charge extra. Zarnik Prime Logistics. Petted our murder cat, drank our alien juice, saved the colony 10/10. Screef Mining Union. Still don't know what he did, but nothing's exploding anymore. Galactic Relay Team 7. He never changed much. Still chewed gum when he was thinking. Still fixed things with whatever was nearby. Still answered universal threats with, "Let's try this and see what happens." And every now and then, a message came through his comms tablet. No signature. No return address. Just a simple phrase. "Something's not working. We've tried everything. Bring gum." He always packed his bag without hesitation. Final entry, Historian's Log, 200 years later. We teach the Jared Protocol in every academy now. Not just the fixes, but the philosophy. Try things. Don't fear the unknown. Use whatever's in your pocket. And when the world makes no sense, lean into it. Because once, a human opened the universe with a snack, a shrug, and a question. What's the worst that could happen? Hammer and Wrench inspired by Jared. Tell us your own Jareditude moment in the comments. And hey, if you love stories of chaotic human brilliance, hit that subscribe button. Because next time, the galaxy might call on someone new. Maybe even you.